Hello again, 6T. All right, so now we're going to be looking at multiplying fractions. So we already did the addition of fractions and we did subtraction of fractions. So now we're going to look at multiplying fractions. I'm going to show you how to multiply fractions, but once we're in class online, I'm going to show you why it works. But now I'm just showing you how to do it, okay? So let us look at the first example that we have. And the first example we have is 4/9 times 3/5. Now, what you need to understand that this is multiplying fractions is different from adding and subtracting fractions because we do not have to make sure the denominators are the same. When we're multiplying, we're not checking that the denominators are the same. What we're really going to do is just multiply straight across. Multiply the numerator and multiply the denominator. So here we have 4/9 times 3/5, and we're going to do 4 times 3 and 9 times 5. 9 times 5. So all we've done is taken the numerator here, 4, multiplied by the numerator here, 3, 4 times 3, and 9 times 5, 9 times 5. So when we multiply that, we know 4 times 3 is 12, and we know 9 times 5 is going to give us 45. So that's nice and quick and easy. But we also notice that 12 over 45, we can reduce or simplify that fraction because we have the highest common factor is 3. So we can divide here by 3, divide this by 3, change my pen color. And when we do that, we are going to get 12 divided by 3 is equal to 4, and 45 divided by 3 is going to give us 15. So the answer for 4/9 times 3/5 is 415. Now I want to look at the same problem again and show you another way to do it, or another way to make your life a little bit easier. So we write back 4/9 times 3/5. And remember, it doesn't matter that the denominators are not the same. We're just going to multiply across. So we're going to say 4 times 3, and the denominator would be 9 times 5. Now, if we stop here and not multiply, but examine the numbers that we have, we're going to realize that we can do a little reducing from here, and that will make our life easier. We look at, is there a number on the top that we can reduce a number on the bottom? And we can do that. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. So we just cancel those out. You see that? The 3 and the 9. We are not able to cancel 4 and 3. We have to cancel 1 from the top and 1 from the bottom. Okay? So now we can multiply. So now we're going to get 4 1s are 4, and 3 5s are 15. So we get back the same answer of 450. Now, any way that you do it is fine. I know for me personally, I find this method over here easier to cancel before I multiply, but it's up to you. All right, so let's look at another example. So here's another example. We have 8/15 multiplied by 3/4. Again, we look and we see that the denominators are not the same, but it doesn't matter because we're multiplying, okay? So what we're going to say is 8 times 3. We'll multiply the numerators, 8 times 3, and 15 times 4. All right? If you would prefer to just multiply out straight first, then we go 8 times 3, and 8 times 3 is going to give us 24. And 15 times 4, if you need to do 15 times 4 on the side, feel free to do that. 4 5s are 20. 2 4s are 4, 5 6, 60. 24 over 60. Again, we know that we can't leave 24 over 60. We can simplify that because we can divide 24 by 12, and we can divide 60 by 12. When we divide 24 by 12, we're going to get 2, and when we divide 60 by 12, we're going to get 5. So the answer is 2/5. Now let us look at the same problem and we do it the other way, the way that I like. I find it easier for my brain. Right? So let us look 8 over 15 times 3/4. So we're going to multiply the numerators, 8 times 3 over 15 times 4. Is there anything here that we can reduce before we multiply? Look at this. We can say 3 divided by 3 is 1. 15 divided by 3 is what? 5. Is there anything else that we can reduce? Yes, there's something else. Look here. Look at the 8 and the 4. We can say 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. Now that should make our life a lot easier. So let us now multiply. 2 times 1 is 2, and 5 times 1 is 5. Now you see how once you do this cancelling before you multiply, it makes your life much easier and you arrive at the answer really quickly. Okay, very good. I'm sure you're understanding. If you're not understanding, go back to the beginning of the video and watch it again. All right, so now we have the example 1/3 times 2/5. What I want you to do is pause the video and try this one in your notebooks by yourself. Once you've completed it and you have the answer, then you come back and see if you got it right. Okay, so now that you have the answer, let us go through it. Let's go through it together. Okay, so 1/3 times 2, oops, that multiplying sign don't look so good, 2/5. So we are just going to multiply the numerators, 1 times 2, and we're going to multiply the denominator, 3 times 5. When I examine this, there's nothing that I can really simplify. So 1 times 2 is 2, 3 times 5 is 15. So my answer is 2/15. Did you get it right? I'm sure you did. All right, so let us look at another multiplication of fractions. But this time we're multiplying a fraction times a whole number. I don't want you to panic because it's just as easy. 1/4 times 12. All right, what we need to do is whenever we're doing multiplication and we get a whole number or a mixed number, we know that we have to put that number, that whole number or that mixed number into a proper fraction, into a fraction, sorry. And once it is in a fraction, then we are able to multiply easily. So when I look at this 12 here, what can I do to get 12 converted into a fraction? And we know that 12 in a fraction can be written as 12 over 1. Any whole number that you have in its fraction form is that number over 1. So 12 is 12 over 1. So since we know that, then our life is easy. So we are now going to 1/4 times 12, which is the same thing as 12 over 1. Now we just carry on the way we know. 1 times 12 and 4 times 1. Is there anything that, okay, let's do it both ways. 1 times 12 is 12. Sorry. And 4 times 1 is 4. We can look at this now. We realize that this is an improper fraction. So we have to convert this improper fraction to a mixed number. And I have a video on how to do that. So I'm not going to go through it. But we know that 12 divided by 4 is going to give us 3. So the answer here is going to be 3. All right, let us look at it the other way. Let us look at it this way. Do it this way. 1/4 times 12, and we know that 12 is 12 over 1. Right? So let us go 1 times 12, and the denominator will be 4 times 1. Is there anything there when you look at it that we can reduce down? Yes. 4 divided by 4 is going to give us 1. 12 divided by 4 is going to give us 3. All right. When we do that and we multiply out now, what are we going to get? 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 1 is 1. So we now have 3 over 1. And we know that any number over 1 is going to give us that number. So the answer is 3. Not bad, right? Let us do another one to see if you really have it. 9/10 times 5. So we have 9/10 times 5. So we know that 5 is the same as saying 5 over 1. So we're going to multiply like we know. 9 times 5 and 10 times 1. 9 times 5, 9 fives are 45, and 10 times 1 is 10. 45 over 10, we cannot leave it like that. Can we reduce it? Yes. This is an improper fraction, so we need to change it into a mixed number. So when we do that, we're going to get, how many groups of 10 can we get out of there? We can get 4 and 5 tenths. Again, 4 and 5 tenths, we have to reduce some more. As I said, we did this already, so I'm not going through how we can do that. We can take the 5 and divide by 5, and the 10 and divide by 5. So what we're going to get is 4, and 5 divided by 5 is 1, 10 divided by 5 is 2. So our answer is 4.5. All right, so let us look at doing it the other way. You know, it's a similar way, but when we reduce first. So our problem is 9/10 times 5. And we are going to change that 5 into 5 over 1. Let us multiply the numerator, 9 times 5, and we're going to multiply the denominator, 10 times 1. Now when we look, we see that we have a 5 and we have a 10 that we can reduce. 5 into 5 goes 1. 10 divided by 5 gives us 2. So we've reduced and made smaller the number that we have to multiply. Going to make our life a lot easier. 9 times 1 is 9. 2 times 1 is 2. And here we have 9 over 2, or 9 halves. Now we know we can't leave that. That's an improper fraction. We're going to change that into a mixed number. And we know 9 divided by 2 is going to give us 4 whole ones and a half. So there we have the answer, remains half and 4.5. Okay, so let's go. Here we now have 4/5 times 15. I want you to pause the video and try this one by yourself. Try it whichever way you think you prefer, or if you want to try it both ways, that is fine. And come back and see if you got it correct. Okay, so now that you've done it, let us check your answer together. 4/5 times 15. And we know that 15 is going to be 15 over 1. So we're going to multiply the numerators, 4 times 15. And then we're going to multiply the denominators, 5 times 1. 4 times 15. We did this already, but for some of you can't do it in your head, I can just jot a little note there. 5 fours are 20, 0 carry the 2, 4 ones are 4 and 2, so 60. So 4 times 50 is 60, and 5 times 1 is 5. All right, it doesn't matter what you do first. Let us reduce this. We know that we can divide both of these things by 5. So let us divide them by 5. 5 divided by 5, and 60 divided by 5. And when we take 60 and divide it by 5, we're going to get, oops, let me get my pen. We're going to get 12, and 5 divided by 5, we're going to get 1. And 12 over 1, we know the answer is 12. Okay, so let us do it the other way, because some of you may have done it the other way. 4/5 times 15. We're going to change the 15 into 15 over 1. All right, let us multiply the numerators, 4 times 15, and multiply the denominators, 5 times 1. Is there anything when we look closer that we're able to cancel out? Yes. 5 divided by 5 gives us 1. 15 divided by 5 gives us 3. Remember, you have to divide by the same number. All right, so now we can now multiply. 4 times 3 is equal to 12, and 1 times 1 is equal to 1. 1 is going to give us 12. So the answer there is 12.